Welcome to Jainam Software. In this video, we are going to see different type of interest calculation in Jainam Software. I hope you have seen other videos, so I'll not explain much. I'll straightforward work and explain on interest calculation. So I have searched customer here. I click loan, and then when I say different type of interest calculation, so this interest calculation are basically mentioned here. So you can select a calculation type as per your business nature. Okay, so the first type I have selected interest with principal. This means that whenever you create any loan, it means you pay the principal amount. So in this case, you are going to pay 10,000, and then you are going to basically as a part of your installment, you are going to have a principal and interest part together. Okay, so I click calculate here. So in this case, it is going to say 10,000 principal, pay 10,000 in installment 107. So out of which 100 will go in principal and 7 will go in interest. So I click save here, but before that let me explain one more point. So I hope you understood 10,000 in principal, 2 is a rate of interest with principal, that's a type of your installment calculation. 100 is a tenor, so 100 days. You can select different tenor here. Okay, week, month, quarter, year. Now what is one is define the interval of collection. So one means like daily. If I enter 2 means alternate day. If I enter 5 means every 5th day. Okay, so I enter 5 here and click save. Loan number 1 is created. Let's search loan number 1 here and just try to understand how it works. So 26th is first installment, first is second, sixth is third, and then 500 is principal, 35 is interest. Okay, so accordingly it is calculated. Now let's create another loan and I enter same amount, rate of interest. So let me explain internal rate of return. Okay, I enter let's say 24 yearly this time, and internal rate of return, this generally works in banks and a small financial bank. No doubt our software is running in big NBFCs as well. So here what you can do, this is designed for them and they are effectively using it. 12 month and interval is same. If I say 1, it means monthly. If I say 2, means it's alternate month collection. So I enter 1 here and then click save. Loan number 2 is created. I search loan number 2 here and then installment tracker. Now what you can see, interest 0. Why? Because installment started on the same day. Now in master setup setting, you can change that configuration to say installment to start after one tenor. It means in case of day from tomorrow, in case of week from next week, in case of month from next month. So you can see here interest is basically reducing and principal increasing, and that's how for the last installment for 14 is the interest here. So I create next loan with a different type of calculation. I enter amount 10,000 and let me select deduct interest from principal. This is very famous worldwide, and in this case they don't generally enter rate of interest. What they do is they just they know like their collection period or the tenor, and they just what they do generally that they enter the installment uh, the deduct the interest to be deducted. Okay, and what they do, so 10,000, let me calculate here. So what happens in this case, deduct interest from principal means principal is 10,000 but they pay 8800 to the party, and in return they collect 10,000. Now how it happens, I click save. Loan number 3 is created here Let me search 3 and installment tracker. So you'll understand here they collect 100 in every installment. So 100 is divided principal 88 and interest 12. So when they say deduct interest, actually they are not deducting interest. What they are doing, instead of 10,000, they are paying less amount, but in return they are earning interest with principal, and in return they are getting 10,000. So let's move to next. Now, so we have covered IRR, in interest with principal, deduct interest from principal. Now, runtime interest and first interest then principal mostly works. This type of calculations work great in gold loan concept. So let's start with runtime interest. So 10,000 and rate of interest, I say 2% monthly. Then because it's runtime interest means the interest is calculated on daily basis. Now in our system, we have flexibility or configuration where you can decide if you want to lock first month, 2 months, 3 months. That configuration you can do in Jainam software. And we have little complex calculations as well. I'll explain later. But just for simplicity, what I'm going to do is here enter just one day. You can enter anything. It's just like uh, just a reminder for you, like when you have to collect. For example, in gold loan, what you do, like you keep gold as a mortgage, and then for 6 months, right? And after 6 months, you go then take the principal and 6 months interest, pay that and get your gold back, right? So if you have to do that, what you can do is you can keep 6 and month here. So your end date in this case is going to be 6 months. But I want to keep one day only here. Why, I'll explain. And just to see calculation part, I want to go 2 months back. Now start date, installment start date, what is this? Start date is something, it works for every loan type. Start date is your disbursement date, and installment when you are going to start. Now obviously some people may say, okay, disburse the loan today but start my installment after 5 days, 10 days, just a grace period. So in that case, that is fine, and you can decide here whether you want to waive off the interest or not for those days actually. In this case, I selected 2 months back for start date, installment start date, and I click save here. Loan number 4 created. I search for loan number 4. Now let's see what you can see. 407 is done. Interest 407 is calculated. Now let me go back 1 month and recalculate. 207. Let me go back and calculate. So accordingly, for 31 days, 207 is calculated. And if I go here 26 for 32 days, that much interest is calculated. If I go here 213 interest calculated. So what I want to do is on 15 207, and I want to collect only interest part here. Okay, or maybe if customer is paying, let's say 207 and 1000 as well. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure what will happen, but let's try to understand how system calculates it. Okay, so receive. Now let's see what has happened. Okay, so 1207. So 207 interest we know, 1000 deducted from principal correctly. Then the interest calculation started working on 9000, and that's how it is 9186 from 26th. So from 25th till date. Now, so what I want to do, again the party paid me 186 as an interest part, and let's say 2000 as a principal part. I received today. Now let's see what happens again. So see, this is how it will work, that 7000, the interest will get calculated on 7000. next. So this is how, this is runtime interest calculation. There no fixed installment here. Okay. And you can receive partial payment, you can receive interest, partial interest, and all that stuff. So runtime is something you are not sure when the party is going to give you. Maybe today, after 1 month, after 3 months. So in that case, this will work great. Okay. Now next, what we are going to see is the last calculation type, that is first interest then principal. To monthly, first interest then principal. Now in this case I want to keep this for, let's say, 6 months. Now in this case what will happen, okay, this is fine. In this case what will happen, first interest then principal, it means it will create installments 6 or 7. I guess it will create 7 installments, let's see. Then every installment it will collect interest, and in the last installment it will calculate the principal. Okay. Now this also works great in gold loan business. Okay. So I click save. Loan number 5 is created here. I just enter 5. Let's see installment tracker again. Yeah. So 200 every month, and the last installment, that's a 6th installment, 10,000. Okay. And what you can do is 26th is the first installment calculated. If you want to get first installment calculated as today, you can also do that. As I mentioned earlier, that master setup setting, you can do that. Okay. So these are the different ways of calculating, and it depends all on the business nature. Actually, how do you want to calculate it? In this case, let's say 200, and instead of 200, let's see if I get 400. If I receive today 400, what will happen? 2 installments received, right? Now customer will say adjust some principal, let's say 4,000. Adjust principal. Are you sure you want to adjust? Yes. Then let's see what will happen then. Then remaining calculated 120 for 6,000. On 6,000 principal, it is calculating 120. Then you receive 120. What will happen? Let's see, 120 is received, right? So this is how it is calculating. And the people like coming from different software backgrounds, like for example Tally, they have the habit of like entering the vouchers multiple stages, but Jainam software specially designed to take care of avoid entering all those vouchers manually. You just do one click entry. Like customer can also do one click entry, because you are not in Jainam software, the business owner is not managing the software. The customer, the staff, agent, collection agent, and different parties associated, they are operating the software. And then not necessarily everyone will have a Tally or any typical or the complex software understanding. So for that, it is made extremely simple. You just pay the amount, and system will take care accordingly about the vouchers, ledgers, and everything. It's all automatically taken care. For example, now we have done so many entries, right? Now you want to see, okay, what is my interest? Let's see, profit and loss from this date to this date. Okay, so it will show my income automatically here. Okay, if I want to see, okay, how did I make the collection, it will automatically say here. Now for this date it is showing, but if you go in business summary, account statement, I want to, okay, not PSP charges, let me add one ledger here. That is my interest received, right? Now we have already created 400 ledgers for customer, because every business almost of same nature working on same platform, accounting principles same actually. So why to have every customer take a pain of doing all these things? So what you can do is you can just go in accounting here. and then interest received. Interest received, I'll go one year back and 1 year next. See, here I'll get everything. I have received how much interest from whom and all that stuff. And I'll get 913 interest collected during this time frame. Similarly, you can select any specific ledger. For example, we have PSP charges paid, like payment service provider. If customer is doing payment using their debit card, credit card, now in that case, how you are going to manage it? Automatically, customer will log in, they will see, okay, for example, let me explain that part also. So sign out here. Now let me enter 1234 1 2. I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. 1234, this one, I guess. Now here, see, showing 5 loans. So we created 5 loans for customer. Now you can see that customer logged in and customer can see 5 loans. Now 535 and pay now. Pay now means automatically pay using the payment gateway online. So now customer does not need to worry about what voucher entry is going and all that stuff. It's straightforward, right? Customer will simply pay for a specific account and it's done. All entries are done automatically. If your staff is managing that, your staff is also having understanding how who has paid, what is the due and all that stuff. If you are managing this from remote place, you can operate from mobile and understand that, okay, this much amount is collected today, this is my income today, and this many customers did not pay today and all that stuff. It's just one click. Just go to Jainam Software mobile app and just access it from there. It is that simple. So here you can get also collection report, your staff report, who collected, because the collection as of now done only by me. So I can see here, I click there, it will tell me, it will also tell me what time I have collected that, right? So this is how Jainam software designed, and so many different combinations of calculating the interest. All right, thank you very much for taking time from your difficult schedule and watching this video. Thank you so much. Have a great day.